Oh, I gotta be careful filming this. Don't want to choke on a candy on the floor here. So this talks a little bit about my own psychohistory, which again is a way to say the course of my life or how things turned out that has shaped me. So I'm a culture repair, global culture repair. I have an ecocentric worldview. I have developed the theory of HSD, which allows me to be, along with a variety of human thinking tools, a systems thinker who can project in the long term. So therefore, very advanced in the concept of socio-cybernetics. So one of the things that I am going to be more working on is not just research or cultural repair work. It relates to me being me, the elusive Homo sapien. I claim to have achieved this much later in life, but most people do not. Developed, levels of sentience and sapience where I say I can now call myself an Homo sapien. I am the elusive Homo sapien because I can't seem to find others. Some have a little bit of the theory, but they don't put it into practice. Therefore, I have named the norm the Homo communium, which means common man, woman, people-primate of this epoch. And sadly, the epoch, because of our species, is the Anthropocene. Now, some of the things I'll be working on, and I didn't do a lot of courts, legal stuff. I only tried to take a few people to court or organizations, and the data is enough for me to know that I've confirmed what I thought, and that the rest of the cultural repair work, but also living my life as a unique case study, ongoing research, but just being me, right, and cataloging it, has to be more related to human rights. So more of my complaints will be related to human rights, and they'll be more and more being, I don't know what the right word is, merged or conglomerated, but they'll be individualized, although they'll be big. Like, let's say you take a particular ministry of a province to court, it's big, but eventually I predict that they will be merging into bigger things. So to consolidate them because they're not making progress or moving forwards. Now, one of the things that makes me quickly abandon the courts should not be the same reasons as you, because you partake in the supernatural and the magical paradigms. Magical is money. So for you, restitutions or closure as victims or whatever requires money. For me, it does not. It requires a judgment that will involve not just acknowledgement of what I went through as the elusive Homo sapien, interacting with the norm, but also cultural repair. So for me, it has to be human rights. But that doesn't mean I predict success. I predict not success, because people that work in human rights are, again, majoritively programmed with a variety of human domestication syndromes that incorporate the supernatural and the magical, therefore not the reality of the human condition or the reality of the natural world. But still, for me, it grows. So if I ever apply for a PhD, what I'll be able to demonstrate is what has grown within me is my ability to role model what an Homo sapien would do. And then I say, well, I've already achieved such research as, I should be given an honorary PhD if you don't want to do it as you accept me in your PhD program in the title of it. Because I'd still like to do some work and networking and meet colleagues and maybe even mentor people to be not just like-minded, but like-behaved, right? Other Homo sapiens. They could technically, based on that research, which is not published articles, okay, or graphs or things like that. My published research is just me living my life and documenting it. Now, there are ways I could do the work to create articles and graphs for this, but I haven't felt the need because I haven't done my research within the academic world. One of the reasons I'd like to be there is to be able to present my theory, findings, research in ways that they are more used to. receiving or mobilizing as knowledge or assimilating, because unfortunately, when I send things that I've written to people with PhDs, I mean, they get insulted if I say, I recommend you read this first. It'll create the schemas for this final document of 8,500 words. And of course, they won't do it. And if they do, so far I've been just criticized on the formatting of it, which is, that's like people who receive the Order of Canada, it's pretty ridiculous. So the best I can do right now, because the biggest sacrifice for an Homo sapien during the Anthropocene is to be alive. And so as I am alive and capable of doing things, I will continue to engage in cultural repair for the greater good. And you must know again that for me the greater good is the biosphere, not my species, not my family, or not my country, or whatever. And it is also long-term thinking, meaning that I won't see results in my lifetime. And also my theory predicts I will likely not be successful at it. But the thing is what I can role model is something still that a template will be left in the future, that this is what the elusive Homo sapien did with his life. At these costs, with these sacrifices, facing these barriers, and then making claims that nobody believed, but that for decades, the evidence provided, not in an academic paper, but in the videos of my life, proved that, yeah, he must have had these skill sets and these human thinking tools and this resiliency and this ability to adapt, because he was more connected to the reality of the human condition than anybody else.